So we'll start. Perfect. Thank you, Nara. Thank you so much. So hello and welcome to everyone to BioBasics Zoom session on Onam Sadhya. Thanks for joining us here. Really excited about the amount of interest that you guys have. So we are happy to kind of share what we know. And I'm Ramesh Chandran. I'm founder of BioBasics. This is Devi who's the co-founder of BioBasics. And our host today is Sashi, and he'll be guiding us through the presentation and the videos and things like that we have here to show you. So for those of you who are new to BioBasics, I'll just give a quick introduction. I'll request Sashi to kind of share the screen, and then we can start off with the presentation itself. But BioBasics itself, BioBasics is a social venture which has been around for 7 years now. We are based out of Coimbatore. We are an organic food venture which we are working with consumer families like yours to push them towards safe food and good health. So that is the motto that we have been working towards. And the next slide will show you Sashi, yeah. So these are typically what we are offering. For us, everything here is organic, and organic is everything. And organic is not just a product for us; it's a way of life. So all that we offer about 300 plus products are chemical and GMO free. We encourage whole foods. We encourage local and seasonal. And when it comes to grain diversity, we have around 50 rices or more, and 10 wheats and 10 millets and such as well. And we are into natural blending free oils and things like that. So please check us out at our website. This is just the commercial break at the beginning so that we can have it out of the way. The next slide will tell you a little bit more about our offerings in more detail. We have around 300 plus items. Like I said, we source them. In fact, Devi is the key sourcing person here. She works with farmers and she's been sourcing them sincerely, personally, and we curate these products here in our kitchen before we offer it to consumers like you. And we home deliver it across India. So I would encourage all of you to check us out on our website, know more about it, and join the organic food movement in India. So with that, I'll just step into the next slide, Sashi, if you will, where we'll just quickly tell you what we are going to cover today. Okay. We will be covering about 10 exclusive Kerala dishes. These names are here. Some of you might be Malayalis or Keralites, so you will be very familiar with these names. But some of you who are not, well, you will learn quite a bit in the next 60 minutes. And we're going to cover these 10 Kerala dishes in a very quick way in the next 60 minutes. It's as challenging as making the sadya itself. But then what we are trying to do here is to try and demystify the sadya. Many of us find that the sadya is becoming very difficult. So most of us nowadays, we tend to outsource it. We tend to buy it from outside and then have the family sit around and eat it. What we believe at BioBasics is if you do it yourself, there are many advantages. One is that your taste you can control. You like the taste, you know what you like. Number two, the health and the ingredients that you're using, you're very clear what you have. You can use good quality ingredients. And we believe it's a sadhya, preparing a sadhya is a family activity. It's a bonding activity, so we should encourage that. And finally, when you do this and enjoy the good sadhya, there's a sense of satisfaction that all of you get. So that is what we are trying to encourage each of us to go into. So we will be covering these 10 dishes. And very importantly, how do you do it in one go? So you can do each of these dishes one of the days. But if you have to do all the 10 things or more in one single day, it becomes a challenge. And what we are here to do is to kind of demystify that, make that less of a challenge. And so we'll also talk about when we lay down the banana leaf, where things go, etc. We will try and talk about that also. So Devi is the expert here. I'm going to ask questions wherever I feel some of you might not understand or appreciate. So I'll make sure that that it is as demystified as possible. So before I hand over to, is that the next one, Sachi? Yeah, so I'll ask Devi to start by talking about what is Onam a little bit and then jump right into it. So, Devi.
Onam is Kerala's major festival or #1 festival. So I'm sure all of you here, some form or the other, love Onam or want to be part of Onam. Onam for us is something we are familiar with since we can remember. We've celebrated Onam almost every year of our lives. So there is this excitement that happens when Onam comes. Stories and myths associated with Onam, but for us, it's fundamentally a harvest festival. And it is after, Karkadagam, the month before Onam is when Kerala sees its heaviest rains. And there is a lot of shortage of, vegetables and fruits. Nothing is available because of the rains. Post which Chingam, the month in which Onam occurs, comes and there's a bountiful harvest. There is a paddy harvest, there's a lot of vegetables. So Onam is a celebration of the whole harvest and the plentifulness that occurs. Onam is celebrated across, in a way across 10 days from Attam, which began about 5 days back and ends at Tiruvonam. Or the other thing is the Onna Onam, that's the first Onam, the second Onam, the third and the fourth day. There are 4 days. And normally the major sadya is cooked on the second day of Onam, which is Tiruvonam.
Yeah, so I think I think one of the things which I keep talking about is Onam happens to be more related to the harvest festival, like you said, and it's probably not very associated with one particular religion, I would think, but not. You have any thoughts there? Or
I think it is a harvest thing. So, but
yeah,
I would say, but mostly celebrated by Hindus, but respected by all
communities. All right. So the next slide we go to, and let's jump right into some of these preparations that we are looking at. So first, I would want to talk, and I'll ask Devi to talk about Avial. Go ahead.
So the Onam Sadya, there is a lot of myths in, this whole aura built up about Sadya, how it is, massive. So when we talk about Sadya, we say 27 items. So the 27 items is including the salt which is served on it. So if you look at it on Tiruvonam, the Sadya, I counted just for this thing, I counted the number of items we are going to have on our Sadya leaf on Tiruvonam, which is coming on 8th. I have counted 21, which is including, the chips, which I get, papadam, the banana, the Nendran banana, which is steamed, 2 kinds of pickles, sharkara varati, even the salt, which is put on the leaf, the ghee which you put on the on the Paruppu, everything. So about 10 items or 10 or 12 items, I think, come from outside. So it's not like we are saying that, okay, we have to cook all these items at home. So some of it we do get from outside, like, which are, things like chips, which we really don't know to make anymore at home, most of us. So we focus on, making the main dishes that are part of the Sadya. Avial, as you know, is Kerala's favorite dish. We like to cook it always. And it just, includes everything, all vegetables, all farm. We have a category of farm vegetables, the mushy vegetables, the watery vegetables. Everything goes in. The particularity is that, you cut it in long pieces, about 2.5 inches long, same size, so that you can cook it all evenly. And once it is cooked, the vegetables are actually just cooked in a little bit of water. And we just, add, I would say the hero of our Sadya is coconut, more than anything else, because almost every dish, coconut will go in. So you take a nice big quantity of coconut, you add jeera, you add green chilies, curry leaves. I grind in the curry leaves. A lot of people may not. For Avial, some people do small onions, but we generally don't. Just coarsely, grind it. Add to the cooked vegetables. Before that, you can add your tamarind water. The souring agents for Avial are either curd, which some people use, raw mangoes, or tamarind. Tamarind is my favorite souring agent. So I try to cook the vegetables partly. I mean, when they're half cooked, add the tamarind water, and then at the end of it, add the coconut, keep it on the stove for about 3 minutes, stirring it gently so that all the coconut is also cooked. Once it's switched off, pour some coconut oil and put some curry leaves. We do not do tadka on avial. So the coconut oil which is used is put raw. It is not cooked or, roasted. And avial, of course, is our family favorite dish. Of course, I think each of these dishes would count as a favorite.
Right. So I just want to, Devi, just talk a little bit. The previous slide, if you would, Sashi, would talk about which are these, I mean, all these vegetables go in all the time, or it could be a few, even a few will do.
Even a few will do. It depends on what you have available. So you have one firm vegetable, it's either the yam or the green banana. You have the mushy vegetable, which is the brinjal. Then you have carrot, which adds color. You have drumstick. You have some kind of beans, either the French bean or the long beans, or even this one, cluster bean. And cucumber ash gourd, one of them or both of them. So it depends on what you have. And every day avial might just have 3 or 4, just 5 items. It's a fantastic way of finishing up all your vegetables in the fridge as well. Right. I mean, that's one of the stories of origin of avial.
Right. So, Sashi, would you just go on and show us the video a little bit? We have shot a little quick video of each of these items, so to show you how we do it in our kitchen. And these are really short videos, but have a look. So those are the cut vegetables, and that's the tamarind water that we put in there. Maybe we want to give commentary.
No problem.
And
well, Ramesh knows as much as I do about the Onam cooking.
No, not as much, but definitely I'm there supporting all this. And this is the ground, the typical mix: jeera, green chilies, etc. And once it is ground, it is mixed into the once the vegetables are cooked, then you add this.
We particularly don't cook the coconut too much.
Yeah.
I mean that varies from family to family, because when you cook it more, it has more of an oil taste. When you cook it less, you have more of a milky taste. Right. We prefer it slightly less.
So as you can see, we are pouring the cold pressed coconut oil on top of it. So that's I think one of the interesting things of Kerala cuisine is to kind of add raw or cold pressed coconut oil.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that was a quick video. This entire session is being recorded, so don't worry if you've missed any part of this. So this will be up on our YouTube channel. Feel free to join us there, and you can take a look at the whole thing again.
And any questions?
Yeah, if there are any questions, I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, please, while we are covering each of these items, feel free to just jot down in the chat box, and Sashi will help us, or I'm also keeping track of the chat box, so you can actually let us know if there are any specific questions on avial, and we can address it then and then. So while we are waiting for that, we'll go to the next dish, and we have to move a little quickly because it's only 1 down, 9 to go. So we want to finish this by 6 o'clock to respect all your time.
So maybe we can go through it faster, unless there are questions.
Unless if you have any questions, there it is.
The vegetables need to be of equal proportion. Yeah, kind of each vegetable, I would say one raw banana, one small piece, kind of similar proportions would be helpful. But, with avial, you can't go wrong. By and large, it will come together, but not too much of each vegetable, yes.
One of the things I would encourage, I think what we do is we don't cook these vegetables too much. So I think Devi needs to touch upon that also. And because some of these vegetables are mushy, they need to be added in a little later. Am I right?
Oh, I do that, but I also add it together because the mushy ones get mixed up and give the, the liquid for the cooking the firm ones. Okay. That also happens.
Right. Because the cooking time is different for each.
Yeah. So what I do is I layer the firm vegetables at the bottom of the kadai.
Yeah.
So the Nendrankai, that's a raw banana, or the yam, which we don't use too much because of a particular reason. So the rest of it, kind of I layer it based on that. So moving on to Erishaeri. Erishaeri is a big favorite. There is always, there is this question, there are certain parts of Kerala, they say Erishaeri is not cooked for festive occasions. But Erishaeri has been a big, but it is cooked in most sadhyas, marriages, we see it. It is made of yellow pumpkin and red cowpea. Red cowpea is the favorite bean, a dried bean of the Keralites, which Ramesh and I ourselves disagree on, because Ramesh is not very fond of red cowpea and he cannot get it why we have to have it regularly. So the red cowpea is cooked separately. What I do is, for a sadhya, I cook the red cowpea together for the Olan and the Erishaeri separately. I mean, I cook the red cowpea and cook the pumpkin, add them together, and then, no surprises. Again, what goes in is coconut, jeera, curry leaves, and green chili. Turmeric is added in everything, almost everything, and a little bit of chili powder we add to give the nice bright color. In this case, the color has come from the very nice orangish pumpkin that we got. And again here, the difference between Avial and Erishaeri is the Erishaeri makes his ground a little more fine than the Avial. And now if you look at it here, it's a bit watery, but all these things for a sadhya would be made a little more dry. So you use less water because you don't want these items to run on your banana leaf. They are all sides. So when you serve on a leaf, you want them to stay firm. So this is like everyday Erishaeri, where you might not have another gravy and you use it. I mean, it's kind of, you cook it as a gravy because you don't want to do it. And Erishaeri, one other thing which I have not done, this is an everyday Erishaeri, is that at the end of it, you do tadka, that is, you pop the mustard seed in coconut oil, put the curry leaves and red chilies. You also take some grated coconut, dry roast it till it's nice and brown and gets a nice fragrance, and the Erishaeri is garnished with that.
On top,
on the top, okay. Yes. So with that, the Erishaeri is done. So we can move to the next item since we...
Yeah, but let's run the video also, a quick video on Erishaeri again.
Let's see, Avial.
The interesting thing about the Erishaeri, of course, so that's the...
pumpkin cooking.
Yeah, pumpkin cooking. Then this is being done separately. There's a cowpea. Lobia, it's also called in North India. And then you mix it together.
Some people use the white cowpea, but the red cowpea gives it a taste which cannot be matched.
So once cooked, again, the same process of adding the coconut grind mixture. And then I think at the end of it, it's the seasoning that happens.
Once you start cooking Kerala dishes, you find that if you can get your coconut right, that's it. You've mastered it. It's basically all about the vegetables. It's a taste of the vegetables that come. It's not spices, so you don't have to make any specialty spices, spice mixes, nothing. It's a very simple cuisine at a certain level. Laborious for a sadhya because of the number of items.
Right. So let's go to the next one. If there are any questions there on Erishaeri, please do let us know. Is the red cowpea cooked in a cooker?
Yes, now you can, if you soak it sufficiently, you can cook it in an open vessel on an everyday basis. But on a sadhya day, I would recommend the cooker because you don't want to complicate your life and have the red cowpea lying uncooked inside your Erishaeri. But otherwise, you could try cooking your red cowpea outside also. If you have time, soak it overnight. You can cook it. It cooks well.
So typically, one of the things I've noticed about Erishaeri is it is not like you can make out the cowpea. It is not mashed up completely. So it cannot be overcooked is what I would say, right?
Yeah,
you have to make out.
Having said that, it's quite well cooked.
Yeah.
Don't mash it up. So next is Thoran, which is our simplest dish, which we, Malayali family eats Thoran every day. This is like the poriyal in Tamil Nadu or, sabji in any other cuisine.
The dry sabji. Yeah.
The dry sabji. We have this every day. This is any vegetable like cabbage, beans, long beans, snake gourd, beetroot, carrot. We make Thoran with anything. And Thoran is just steamed. You do the tadka first. pop your mustard. And in Thoran, sometimes we either add split urad during tadka. Steam cook the vegetable or cook it depending on what cooking type. Like for something like cabbage or beetroot, you just need to steam cook it with a little bit of water. Once the vegetable is cooked, yes, no prizes for guessing. Again, you take your coconut, you take your jeera, you take your green chilies. And what I do is I grind my curry leaves in everything. I mean, I'm the curry leaf queen, literally. I don't know whether it's grinding it in is part of traditional cuisine, but we love the taste of it. And at the end of it, add it, mix it up, 2 to 3 minutes on the stove on a low fire after the coconut is added, or slightly more. The key is that you cook the coconut so that it doesn't go bad, but you don't overcook it, that it generates the taste of oil, gives you a fried thing. So if you don't cook the coconut, it can go bad quickly. So you cannot keep it for the night because the raw coconut goes bad pretty quickly.
So one of the things I have learned again from Devi, and what I've learned is that it is better to steam cook this as opposed to, we don't put too much water when we are cooking. So very little water, and it cooks. Depends on the vegetable. If it is carrots, then it will need a little bit more water. But something like cabbage and snake gourd, depending on how mature it is, it will need either more water or less. But make sure that it is not too much of water. Otherwise, it gets a little. So this is supposed to be dry. This is essentially a dry vegetable. I mean, dry dish, I should say.
No pressure cooking for any of these vegetables.
So it has to be so as the video will show, it is in the vessel itself, a little bit of water, and then Sashi, you can show it. So we have done this is the snake gourd, and a little bit of water there, and that's cooks in that. We put the turmeric powder and the curry leaves also there.
Yeah, because the tadka is done.
And then the same old mix. And
each time it's taken differently. We are not showing you the same image.
Yeah, it is different, and then it's put together. And when I make it, just so everyone knows, when I make it, I don't cook. The moment I put in the mix, I don't cook it for more than 30 seconds or 1 minute more. And that's good enough. But, so you don't overcook that.
Yeah, but I must warn you that if you don't cook it sufficiently, it could go bad for the night. So if you want to, if you have it for the night as well, or want to keep it outside the fridge for some more time, advisable to cook the coconut a little bit.
So I personally believe, and Devi can correct, I believe that Thoran is one of the more healthier dishes that we can think of having, because it doesn't have much oil at all.
And it's a good fat.
It is good fat in terms of the coconut. And it's lots of vegetables. So whenever we are having a lunch, it will be more of Thoran and different, maybe it's 2 Thorans or plus rice or whatever. You can actually consume a lot more of vegetables this way than otherwise.
We are about sadya now, not healthy.
Oh, sorry. Okay, go on. Sorry, go on. So we'll move on to the next one. If there are any questions on Thoran or any other dishes we have covered so far, happy to take those questions. So keep the questions coming. We'll be happy to take those questions. We can go to the next one.
This is our paruppu made with moong dal, split moong dal without skin. This is again a common everyday dish in Kerala households. You cook the moong. You can pressure cook it. At least on a sadya day, I would pressure cook it due to paucity of time. Otherwise, cook it in an open vessel, soak it for a couple of hours. Here, like I said, again, we come back to the same old coconut, green chilies and jeera mix. But here the coconut is ground fine. So the Thoran, it was very coarse. Avial, medium. Erishaeri, it was ground at a medium level. This is ground fine. There are, certain families who do put in a small pod of garlic in this because they feel that it generates gas. But there are also as many people who do not use garlic. If you have noticed till now, it's only in the Thoran with the snake gourd that I have put onions. Almost the whole sadya can be cooked without onion and garlic. We do use onion in Avial on everyday basis, but it's kind of neutral in terms of you can use it or not use it. And paruppu again is very quick. This is another dish where we do not do, popping the mustard seeds, the tadka. It is just at the end of it, you cook it, pour the cold raw coconut oil and put the curry leaves. As you can see in the image, there is no mustard seeds.
Yeah. Sashi can walk us through the video a little bit, but this is one of my favorite gravy, if you like, of Paruppu. And it's this is the usual mix coconut mix, and
this is a different mix.
No, this is, you're showing something else.
Yeah. Shashi has mixed up.
No, this is.
Yeah, he's mixed up the mixes.
No, it's fine. Yeah, he's fine.
The mustard.
Mustard shouldn't be here.
No.
Mustard shouldn't be here. But I think, so I think that's another video clip which is wrongly added. But I think, no mustard in Paruppu, that will mess it up, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
sorry for that.
Sorry about that. But effectively, this is, my favorite because, at lunch you have this, and I'm talking about regular day, okay? Yeah. So, and then in the night, it makes a very good khichdi along with your rice. So that's something very nice.
Let's focus on the sadya.
Let's focus on the sadya. Let's come back to it. Okay.
We'll come back to
so then going to the next, please feel free to again put on questions if you like.
So masala curry, I don't know. We call it masala curry. It is something we find in sadyas, normal sadyas also, and it's a big favorite in our family. Like right from the time I was growing up. So I don't know whether it is a sadya regular. Because it's either pootu curry, masala curry or stew, which just gets added. This I say is the only spicy, let's say a dish which uses some amount of spices. So this one is made with our good old potatoes and onions, and garam masala, a little bit of chili powder, bit of coriander powder, and turmeric powder. So it is simply like the potato masala, which you do, that we do with rotis or whatever, saute the onions, add the boiled potatoes, add the masala. We have this fantastic garam masala, which makes it really out of this world. And once it's all well mixed up, well cooked, at the end of it, what we do is add coconut milk. So that is where this comes in, is that after adding the coconut milk, I add it to it when it's hot. We do not cook it after that. So some cuisines or some people who cook, there is a tradition that they put the coconut milk in and cook it a little bit on a low fire. It's a personal preference. My thing has always been not to cook it. I pour it into the hot thing, which I think cooks it a little bit anyway, because the ingredients are hot. The kadai is hot, and it gives a nice, rich, creamy taste. And this, I can't say is a traditional sadya dish, but now it has become quite a popular sadya dish. So here the coconut milk is what adds to it. The masala is the chili powder, the turmeric powder.
Go on, Sashi, go on with the video, please. Yeah, so this is the boiled potatoes, doing the tadka to start with mustard, and is it curry leaves also, I suppose?
Yeah, curry leaves, red chili.
Yeah, and then we add this. I would strongly, this is
the power going off.
The power going off. But then this is one of the places. The garam masala is very, very critical. That's the magic portion here, and that is something which is fantastic. What we have at BioBasics is just fascinating. So it's just it's something that gives a completely different taste to the to masala curry. It is one of the best things that I personally like. Which of course for sadya again you would probably not want it too watery.
No, for sadya everything would be less watery because you don't want it to run in the leaf. And the one thing that I forgot to add is
that is the coconut milk, right?
Yeah.
There, yeah.
Yes. So be it Thoran, Avial, Erishaeri, we do add peppercorns. It's kind of optional, but some families add peppercorns also. That adds to a flavor, particularly Thoran. It's very nice to add it.
Yeah, beautiful. Yep. Great.
Because peppercorns are from Kerala and that goes into a lot of things.
Let's
but
go to the
having
next
said that, this the specificities of whether peppercorns are in or not will all depend on the region. So Trivandrum people would, south of Kerala, they would cook it differently, the north differently, central Kerala differently, and there would be nuances of it. I think once we arrive at whatever works for the family.
Yeah, I would probably give a very strong disclaimer here that this is not the only way to cook a sadhya. Okay, this is like as many families, or probably if you have as many Kerala possibly, you will have as many ways of doing it. There must be some nuances there which they do differently. Particularly North Kerala and Middle Kerala and Southern Kerala, they have different ways of going. So definitely, this is not the only way.
There is no definitive way of.
Yeah, this is our way. So we call it the biobasics way. So this is our way of doing the sadhya. Olan.
Olan is again a very distinctive Kerala dish. I have not seen the equivalent of it anywhere because it's a dish. I mean, as it is, our spice use is minimal. As you have seen, we've just taken the same old coconut and ground it in different ways. I didn't even put pepper, which I would have normally put, because if I had made a cabbage thoran instead of the snake gourd, we would have put pepper. And also Erishaeri, if I make it on a special day, pepper would be added. So in Olan, what you do is the cowpea, which is already cooked with the Erishaeri's cowpea. I mean, if you're making it on a sadhya day, you're going to cook both, the cowpea enough for both the items. And you cook your ash gourd. This other vegetable is ash gourd, that is pusini or, eleven in Kerala. And once it is cooked, you add both of them. What you do is when you cook the ash gourd, you slit 2 green chilies. There are some families who also put in slit 2 or 3 slivers of ginger and cook the ash gourd. Nothing else. There is no turmeric, no chili powder, nothing, just salt. And mix it up with the cowpea once the ash gourd is cooked. On top of this mixture, you add thick coconut milk. That's it, nothing else. And then you add the raw coconut oil and curry leaves. Nothing, there is no spice. But it has, it is a big favorite with many of us. It's a fantastic dish.
So explain that a little. When you say the thick coconut milk, just explain
so
the
two
or three.
So, we have the 3 levels. So when you make the coconut milk, the first part that you take when you grind it in the mixie, so pour a little warm water and grind it. It's easier to extract the coconut milk if you're making it at home. So the first batch that you make it, or the first lot of coconut milk you make it, is the Onam Sadhya, which is a thick one. Then you add some more water to the coconut, grind it in the mixie, take out the second level, which is a little more dilute, which is the second. And there would be some more essence in the coconut. You put some more water and grind it again, take it out. That's a third level. So for Olan, if you do not want it watery, you will want to add the first milk.
We'll see the video now session. So that's the ash gourd cooking, and
with
then
the
green chili, and then the cowpea red mixed up. And this is the first level of coconut milk.
So it's fairly thick. So if you notice it's a little watery, you could make it thicker for the sadhya.
And that was the cold pressed coconut oil on top.
And the curry.
Yeah. So again, this is one of the things on a sadhya day, this is a side dish. It's not the main, it's not the orchu utan as we call it in
the
Malayalam, or the what do you call it in
the
Tamil?
pouring or
Kolamba in Tamil. That's not what so this has to be much more drier, not watery. Yeah, go on.
Any questions?
Yeah, please feel free to shoot questions if you have any. Happy to, Devi can address those. Go on.
So this is pachadi.
Yeah. So yeah, Aparna, I think that is one of the that's one of the things I've noticed in Kerala cuisine is that most of it is steam cooked. So from a naturopathy perspective, I think it is a very healthy way of looking at
you reach
health already, because I'm more concerned about. My point is that is a very healthy tradition.
From a taste perspective also.
True.
So it what today you have all these modern restaurants who are ingredient forward. Kerala cuisine is ingredient forward. I mean, it's not hidden behind spices. Like, as you can see, I mean, at the end of it, I've given a list of spices. You will find that you have nothing unusual in it. You hardly use any spices. It's very ingredient forward. So let us say it's a very, ahead of its time kind of cuisine. And it comes from the fact that Kerala is a very fertile land with lots of rain, and you get a variety of vegetables which grow through most of the year. So fresh vegetables were always available in plenty, which led to a cuisine which is very driven by the vegetables. So pachadi is made, you can make it either with beetroot, we can make it with cucumber and fried bhindi, that's fried lady's finger, or fried bitter gourd. But the preferred ones are cucumber. The sambar cucumber is what we use, the traditional yellow golden cucumber that you get in Kerala. Or beetroot has become the new favorite because of its fantastic color. It looks really good on your, on your leaf, in your photographs. Much before Instagram came, beetroot pachadi became popular. What is unusual about, again, very simple. You grate the beetroot, you steam cook the beetroot, and again, we come back to coconut, but yes, no jeera. You have the green chili. First, the coconut and the green chili are ground fine. In this case, it is ground fine. And then you take a spoon of, for about 2 beetroots, I think you would take about half a teaspoon or 3/4 of teaspoon of mustard. Put it in the end and just do a blend. So you only crack the mustard. You don't grind. Yeah, you pulse it. You don't grind in the mustard. That would give a completely different flavor. So here, nothing else. Mustard is the flavoring. So, and you add this coconut mix onto the beetroot, the cooked beetroot, cook it gently on a low fire for some time, and then add a little bit of curd at the end. Here again, after adding the curd, I do not cook it. And then we do the usual tadka with curry leaves and red chili.
So talk about the pineapple.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot that. Pineapple pachadi is another popular one because pineapples are something, yes, it's steam cooked. Definitely, even pineapple is steam cooked. So it will be sweeter. And we do this Pradhaman pachadi. So if you have ripe mangoes, that is the king of all pachadis. Yes, so you put it in by Onam. Actually, we run out of mangoes. Except some very old trees. I mean, in my grandmother's place, etc., there were these massive trees. There were certain trees which would really fruit late, and you had Payamanga available rarely. But otherwise, for Paramanga Pachadi or the ripe mango Pachadi is a sadya item for Vishu, which comes in April when the first mangoes start coming in. And that is the best of all Pachadis. Otherwise, these are equally tasty. Very simple again. Very simple, but very delicious. Shashi, the video.
Yeah. I think the key here is the mustard.
And not to grind it.
And not to grind it beyond a pulse, because then it can become a little bitter, I think. That's your grated and now being boiled beetroot. And that's the amount of mustard that is used. And it is just a quick pulse, not too much.
So you can see it after
it is ground, and then that is added on to the beetroot, cooked beetroot, grated cooked beetroot. And then that becomes your pachadi, and then there is only the seasoning left.
Is it moving?
That's the curd, is it?
No, there's a little bit of water and the curd was added.
The curd, okay. Yeah.
Are we okay on time?
We're on okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Sashi. Yeah, so let's move on to the other one. Please feel free to shoot questions. we move on to the next one, which is Kichadi. So explain that.
So Kichadi is very similar to Pachadi. I don't think I have to go through it. See, Kichadi is kind of, we make Kichadi with custard again. So my family, when my mother was saying, we use the word Pachadi and Kichadi interchangeably. But parts of Kerala or a lot of families, Kichadi is made with jeera instead of mustard. The same thing as Pachadi. So this is done with sambar cucumber. The Pachadi or Kichadi, the sambar cucumber, beetroot, we don't use the turmeric powder. So it's the rest of the items, if you see, we use turmeric powder. In this, we don't.
Both for Pachadi
and Pachadi and Kichadi, except the white mango one will be yellow in color, but the rest of them will look white. And the beetroot one will look pink. So here again, it's absolutely a repeat of what we did with the beetroot. Yes, the curd is added at the end of it. And so the vegan versions don't have curd, or you can have nut milk based curd, but very little curd. In fact, if you look at it, you would add for a normal 2 or 3 member family, a couple of spoons of curd. That's about it, because the coconut forms the base gravy, not the curd. The curd is just added on top to just give flavor. I think we can move to...
No, we'll go to the video there. So that's your ash gourd getting cooked?
No, it's cucumber.
Cucumber, sorry. Okay. And there again is a mustard there. We use mustard in this.
I use mustard, but Kichadi is made. And there are recipes where I have seen salt is always added with the vegetables. Because unlike pulses, vegetables can cook with the salt in and gets absorbed very well. So all the vegetables, if you look at it right from Avial, Thoran, beetroot, the salt is added with the vegetables. And when finally, when you add the mix and you find it's insufficient or you want some more, you add it later. But the initial salt and turmeric powder, wherever turmeric powder comes in, both those things, the vegetables get cooked in that.
Okay, so we are getting to the end of the, I don't know how many we've covered so far, but let's go on to the next one. Yes.
So Mata rice, I think I will leave it to Ramesh because he's the one who cooks rice every day.
I do the rice. It's the interesting part of biobasics is again the kind of rices that we carry. Red rice goes very well in a sadya, obviously, and typically this is soaked about 2 to 3 hours. So morning around 7 or 8, we put it in water, washed, and then put it in water for 2 to 3 hours. And around 12-ish or 1-ish, when we're ready for lunch, just about an hour before lunch, you could cook it. That's how I do it. So typically I would take 1:4 water, just for the 2 of us. You could do more water as well, but it'll get drained out. So this is enough. 1:4 is typical for the 2 of us. And you cook on high till you get 3 whistles, then you let it simmer for about 10 minutes and then shut it off. And then you wait for about 15 minutes and then you can drain the water, drain the kanji, and then you can have it. So this is after the cooking is done, so it's ready.
Yeah, it's hot, with the steam coming, so it will look brighter later.
Yeah. So this is, I think, Kerala Matta, but there are many varieties of rices that we carry, and some of them slight differences in terms of water, etc. Is it healthy to pressure cook? We'll come to that question. I'll just walk you through the video first. Go on, Sasha. Go on. So here's the...
So there is a little bit of bleed, as you can see, when it is washed. Don't worry about it. Because of the, semi-polishing, some amount of bran will be loose, which will bleed a bit. So some people get worried that it is,
some fake rice, it's not fake. It's even the most original of rices will carry that bleed. So don't worry about that. And then once it is washed, and we put it in the pressure cooker with. You could do it with even without the pressure cooker. It will take longer in an open vessel.
In fact, it is healthier.
Yeah.
In an open vessel. But again, for Sadya day, I wouldn't recommend it because you won't have time. But other days, yes, definitely. You don't need to soak it overnight. At least not for the Kerala Matta and the semi-polished rices. But for the unpolished rices like Namra or something, if you want to make kanji or a black rice, soaking overnight would be a good idea because that would help you to cook. But the semi-polished would become too soggy. So about 2 hours of soaking, and the key is to keep it for sufficient time. When you cook it, you have 3 whistles on high, keep it on simmer for 10 minutes and let it cook in its own steam. You don't open it, like we don't just pull up the whistle and let out the steam.
Let it be, let it be. Yeah. So it generally takes about, I would say 30 to 40 minutes to cook.
No, in a cooker it's less, including the cooling time.
Including them, yeah.
Including cooling time, 30.
So to be safe, I typically do it 1 hour before our lunch, so we can have hot rice.
When cooking in an open vessel, you may want to soak longer. You might want to soak it in hot water a bit, and then let the water boil, the cooking water boil very well. Then put the rice in, stir it in, and then keep it with the lid on and cook it. You have to be patient. One of the mistakes most of us make while eating red rice is not cook it sufficiently. So when it's not well cooked, it's kind of, people feel it doesn't digest, it doesn't agree with them because it is not well cooked. That is the problem.
I mean, I've grown up on white rice till the age of 40 or 45, and then I've got into red rice. I was not used to red rice at all. But I can say that the red rice is much more flavorful, and at any time. And the test of it is that it has to be soft when we're eating it. It is not hard at all. And it's almost like flowers, it's as light as flowers in terms of the texture. So that's the test. So it should not be hard at all. It should be cooked well.
Yeah.
All right. So
thanks, Celine.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next
last item, I think.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Go on.
So the payasams actually are the big thing in the sadhya. When we were kids, we would have to go for these Kerala weddings, and we didn't think weddings were fun. But all of us would go as kids and eat very less. We would take a little bit of rice, have it with the parippa, and then wait, because there would be 4 payasams at a wedding sadhya. So we were sure that we had to eat all 4 of them. So interestingly, traditionally, Onam also people used to do 4 payasams. Onam is all about 4 of each. My friend, Kerala historian, who's very knowledgeable about things, all things related to history and all things related to Kerala, Devika. So Devika was telling that Onam is about 4 kootam. That is 4 of everything. So she said it's about 4 pickles, 4 chips, 4 dry koota, 4 gravies, 4 payasams.
Interesting.
Yeah, all of it 4 each. So, but then now, of course, Onam, most of us limited to 2 because 4 would be a bit much for many of us. So what we do is, one is a Sharkara Paisam, which is paisam made with the jaggery and coconut milk. Other one is the Pal Paisam, or the milk-based kheer that all of us have become more familiar with. So this is the Paruppu Pradhaman. Pradhaman is normally the name, we don't call it Paisam when you make the Sharkara-based
Sharkara is the jaggery. The
jaggery kheer, it is called Pradhaman, not Paisam. That's a distinction. Paisam is the one which is made with milk. So you have Ada Pradhaman, which is made with jaggery, and Ada Paisam, which is made with Ada and milk. So you have multiple kinds. So Pradhaman is made with moong dal, chana dal, and Nendran banana, jackfruit, and Ada is a kind of dried, it's made with rice flour, which is dried into these small pieces and which is cooked. And what I have done is make it with moong dal. So I had taken enough moong to roast it for the parippa and the pradhaman. Cook the moong well. So here you cook it, mash it nicely because you don't want it lying uncooked. And then use the 3 ranges of coconut milk. That is, I think we can do it when the video is going on.
Okay.
So you first cook it in the 3rd milk, which is a diluted milk, but cook it on low fire. Once you add coconut milk and start cooking, do not add...
this is roasting.
Yeah, this is the roasting of the moong. The roasting actually brings out the flavor of the moong. Otherwise, if you by mistake forget to roast it, that's fine. it won't be.
So you've added the first level.
Yeah. So
the
here,
third
instead
level
of jaggery, I have added the raw cane sugar or the jaggery powder to make life simpler. Traditionally, you would make the jaggery, you melt the jaggery in a separate vessel and then add the liquid in. So here
this is the third level of coconut
milk. Yes, the coconut milk, the most diluted coconut milk. I'm mashing it with a little potato masher to see that all my moong pieces, it's a little blood.
Yeah, but it could also be blended a little bit. If
you find that it is not and you're in a hurry, you can blend it. Just pulse it once in the mixie, the cooked moong, so that it becomes evenly blended.
So you can see the 3 levels of milk.
So this is the most dilute. This is the second level. This is, I think, the thickest milk we had on. And we had the cashew nuts and raisins,
which are again roasted.
Roasted in a little bit of ghee. And
that's there it is, yeah.
And then you add the, you're adding bits of coconut milk here and there. And actually you also add pieces of roasted coconut. See, coconut is cut into small bits and roasted nicely and then added, because that adds a little bit of thickness. And traditionally you used to add jawarisi.
Yes,
that is sabudana.
That's sabudana, yes.
That helps to absorb the sweetness, because this can become very sweet. So that absorbs it, that is added. And the coconut milk, once you take it off, you have to slow cook this, it takes some time. So with the third milk, the second milk, and then you take it off the stove and then add the creamiest of milk. And you find that it sitting in this is actually made in my great-grandmother's urli.
Urli is a brass vessel.
It's a bronze vessel. And in this urli, we don't make any sabji. I do not make any kooter, any sabji where I use spices. So this is used only for making sweets. So generally paisams, if you have a separate vessel, it's good. Otherwise, the normal vessel, you really want to scrub it, wash it in hot water, and then make it so that the spice element doesn't come in or doesn't spoil the coconut milk and things like that. And this actually thickens after you keep it. It thickens and you can add the last bit of coconut milk, and it gets this nice, beige color, not brown. So that's
right. So you forgot the cardamom, which is my
the cardamom. He added it.
So cardamom is a very nice piece to it, but Devi doesn't
cardamom
like
is a contested flavor at home because I don't like it.
Cardamom adds a lot of value, is what I think.
So I forgot it in my spice list also.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's move on. I think those are the 10 dishes that we quickly walk through, but we have a few closing comments. I think that the tip is, again, the challenge is how do you make all this together on one single day? So let's talk about that a little bit. Devi can run us through that. Right
quickly
now.
I think we have. So what is interesting is your Kerala Sadhya can be made with everything you will have at home. You look at the spice list. It's cumin, mustard, turmeric powder, chili powder, asafoetida. Asafoetida just goes into the sambar, which we didn't show you here. Coriander powder.
Does it go to MasalaCurry?
No. The curry leaves, red chilies, green chilies, garam masala. And oil, you use coconut oil, and then you use ghee for frying your cashew nuts and for the paisams and the Pradhaman. The specials, and then you have cardamom, cashew nuts, raisins, coconut milk, brown sugar, jaggery, and cardamom. So that's it. You don't need to buy anything from outside. Literally, just get your vegetables, get your red cowpea and your moong dal, and you're ready to go. Next. Matar rice, of course, you have to have some rice. Matar or white table rice.
Chiming in. So yes, matar rice, obviously. Or matar or any kind of red rice, I think will go wonderful.
Or even white rice. If red rice is not your cup of tea, get a traditional white rice. Right. Next, Shashi. So what is it that gives different flavor to each of the curries? So if you look at it, everything we have coconut and jeera and mustard or a little bit of pepper, which I haven't shown here. So it is how you grind the coconut. So Thoran is the coarsest. You don't even have to pulse it. You actually only pulse it. Sometimes if you are an expert coconut grater, your grated coconut is enough for the Thoran. You don't even need to pulse it. Avial, a little more than, maybe you just do, few seconds more than Thoran. Erishaeri, you kind of do a medium grinding because your coconut is still, you can make out the coconut pieces. It should be something you can chew into. Kichadi, Pachadi, Paruppu. Paruppu is a dal. You kind of fine grind it. The Pulisheeri is the, one of the gravies that we make with more is buttermilk. For that, Kalan is one of our specialty dishes, which I should have made. I didn't get around to it because our Nendran didn't ripen. After this video, it's ripened today, all of it.
Okay. So Pulisheeri and Kalan are the ones we have not covered in this session today.
Yeah.
And that's super fine.
Yeah, super fine grinding. Kalan requires a lot of time on the stove. It's a long dish because Kalan, you have to slow cook it with the buttermilk and this coconut, and it has to keep without going bad for 3 days. Traditionally, it was made in a culture tea and it was kept for 3 days of Onam. And yes, Kalan was. And Olan and MasalaCurry, you just add the coconut milk. So there you're throwing out the coconut and actually only adding the milk. So if you see the gradation, that is a difference, that changes the taste and the...
One of the key differences, of course, the vegetables are different, obviously.
Yeah. Next, cool. Shashi. We should have had coconut picture here.
Go on.
So how do you go about making the sadhya and all these items?
One day.
On one day, you start the day before. So one is...
go on, please.
You kind of, the evening before, you empty the fridge because you want space to keep everything which you are going to prepare in advance. You cook your cowpeas and tur dal for the sambar. You roast and cook your moong dal, that is for your Paruppu and for your Pradhaman, if your Pradhaman is going to be Paruppu. You cut and grate all of your veggies like the Avial, except the ash gourd, which I won't do because it can get a little watery. But the pumpkin, the cabbage grating, the beetroot, the Avial,
carrots, beans, etc.
Whatever. Except, I would say, except the cucumber and not even the cucumber. Even that can be cut up the day before.
The day off.
The day before. Only the ash gourd I keep it for the day. You can also pre-cook the vegetables like the Avial vegetables, the steaming the beetroot, steaming the cabbage for the Thoran. Your potatoes, if you're making the MasalaCurry, can be boiled. All this can go into your fridge. You grate enough coconuts for your sabjis, but not for your paisam and not for your coconut milk. Because if you keep your grated coconut in the fridge and then you try to make milk, it is a very difficult task. And the milk taste and consistency doesn't come out so well. You might want to add hot water to it. So this preparation, next, Sashi. This is the day before.
And here some of the items that you can select items you can buy.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we buy the chips, we buy the inji puli. Inji puli is a big favorite. In fact, I was about to make inji taira and found that we had run out of ginger. And the day of the sadhya, well, you get everybody roped in. Even the day from the day before, you rope in the whole family. I mean, don't let them go scot-free. Don't take on the sadhya yourself. Morning breakfast is usually steamed ripe Nendran banana. You don't have anything else because you're going to keep yourself ready for the sadhya. So there is no Onam day breakfast per se. Then you scrape the coconut for the milk. For coconut milk, you would choose a fresh coconut, not a very mature one, which would give more milk. You steam cook the veggies like the ash gourd and cucumber, which you have not cooked the day before. Grind the various coconut mixes, which you're not going to do the day before, because if you do it, it will not be fresh enough. Coconut is something which can go bad quickly. So you grind all the mixes one after the other in the mixie. Once you get them, you organize them in a plate. You will see that sadhya is all about coconut. So your Thoran mix, your Avial mix, Erishaeri, everything will be there. Just, you can, one by one, you can just grind it. And rope in somebody to make the coconut milk. There should be a volunteer making your coconut milk on the side. And, once your vegetables are cooked, it's all about mixing these things and doing the final tadka or preparing it. Well, it does take more time than I'm saying it now. It can be time consuming because of the number of items. But remember, half your items do come from a store, like your papadam comes from a store, your Nendran chips, your sharkara varti, maybe your pickles, or you can make your pickles in advance, your inji puli in advance. The banana is there. All that will come from is done up earlier. Yeah, next, Rashi. So what goes into the leaf? The left-hand side corner, you have the salt first, then the Nendran.
So the left-hand side corner is the narrow end of the leaf. The broad end of the leaf of the banana leaf is on the right side, because most of us, in fact, all of us eat with our right hand. So that's where the broad side comes in. The narrow end is on the left side. That's the logic there. And then, yeah, start with fries and pickles.
Yeah, then you put the chips, the banana chips, that the sharkara variety. The pickles are here. The salt should have been in this corner. The avial goes to the right-hand side corner. Between avial and these chips, you have all the others. That's the Thoran, the Erishaeri, the Pachadi, MasalaCurry. Everything goes in here. The rice is served. The Paruppu on top of the rice. And then after the Paruppu, you've eaten the Paruppu and rice, you do the sambar and rice and do all of it. And you also have your paisams in the leaf. Yeah, interestingly, and that adds a nice flavor. It might seem like it won't, but it's quite interesting after the spicy meal to have your paisam on the leaf. And the banana is used, not the Nendran boiled or the steamed Nendran, but the other green, regular banana is used to be mashed into the Pradhaman, which kind of takes away the if you find the Pradhaman too sweet, the banana will neutralize that. So that's about it.
Yeah, so now that you've figured out how to do all that, so over to you. Have at it, knock yourself out. This is something that Miriam, we missed you too. So this, like I said, this is being recorded, and that's precisely why all of you guys are on mute. But I encourage you to shoot questions now. You will see a recording on our YouTube that will be up in a few days, but well before Onam, I should say. But that's our website address right there. If you want to buy, we have some Onam specials going on now, and there is a code here which is Onam 2022. That's ONAM 2022 is the code that you can use to actually get some freebies there. Sashi, you may want to put it in the chat box, the code, so that everyone can take a note of that. And then that's the number that we have. You can WhatsApp any queries to Devi and get going. We've got 5 more days for Onam, so wish you all a very, very happy Onam, and hope you've enjoyed this session. We plan to do more of these sessions, not just on Sadya, but a lot of other things as well, to encourage people to cook at home and to enjoy the process of cooking. I think it's a family bonding time. I feel that it is also the way you can control taste and control health. So please continue to encourage your family and other people around you to cook. And the age of Swiggy and Zomato, this is absolutely essential that you cook at home and we don't lose touch with food. So with that,
with Onam, it's particularly so because when we think of the effort farmers take to grow all this,
absolutely.
I mean, farming is getting tougher and tougher. The least we can do is cook and enjoy all this. So our cooking is equally important for farming to survive, for good food and good crops to survive in the fields. And the third thing is cooking is a skill. I'm sure we all enjoy it if we do it. And it's not intimidating. I mean, that's one of the things we find. I mean, it is not very difficult.
Now, I feel that it's not just, I mean, from a gender perspective, again, I would say that it is not just for women. It's for, I think, all of us. Men also should get to, we should be able to make all these things on our own with some help here and there. But I think that's very important that everyone gets involved in food. The way we are alienated ourselves from not just farming, but also from food, where we can't even recognize good food from bad food. That is a problem. So we encourage all of you to try this, and Onam Sadhya is a wonderful way to start. So I would, I'm sure all of you are here because you cook at home. So have a good time cooking for Onam this year. And hopefully this was useful, and all your comments, all your questions were very interactive. So let's hope that this helps everybody. And with that, we wind up now. Thank you so much. And
please feel free to ask us questions on the number, and we'll be happy to respond.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye. And happy Onam.
Happy Onam again. Yes. you can lean